It's ugly.
3-step dropbacks. You got to get rid of the football here. But Brock Purdy, back to him, because everybody's worried about him, and I get it. Torn UCL, is Brock really the guy? I have question marks about Brock Purdy, but I kind of want to spin this forward.
What do you mean?
And flip the conversation. Why can't Brock build on what they did last season? Why can't he? Is this strictly because of the torn UCL? Because I added the Dallas game to the equation. Those are starts. And the Miami game. The Niners averaged 32.5 points per game. Now, you could say the defense shutting out the offense in the second halves helped a lot. The defense forcing turnovers, giving them short fields helped a lot. But how many times did we see Jimmy Garoppolo not take advantage of the turnovers and settle for field goals? We saw the same thing with Alex Smith, with Patrick Willis, and Navarro Bowman, and that great defense, where they didn't take advantage of the turnovers or the short fields and they had to settle for field goals. Brock Purdy helped make it count with touchdowns. Blowing away Tampa Bay, blowing away Miami late in that football game, blowing away the Washington Commanders in the second half. Why can't they build off of that?
Well, didn't you think Jimmy was going to build off 2019?
Yeah, but that offense wasn't as dynamic. They didn't have as many weapons.
They added
as this
Ayuk.
One. They drafted him, but he was a rookie wide receiver.
I know, but I'm just saying, they added to it.
The running backs. Did we really believe Mostert could be a 16-game, 17-game running back?
No, but we also thought at that time anyone could play running back for the 49ers, which I think we've now realized is false. They also added a left tackle in Trent Williams that offseason, who was, in a weird way, an upgrade over Joe Staley. So, it's not a like for like.
It's not a like for like, but this offense, come on paper, Ayuk, we know, is established as coming off a 1,000-yard receiver. He was coming off of Arizona State. You know what we were asking when Ayuk was drafted? We were saying, why didn't we draft CeeDee Lamb?
Why
didn't we draft Justin Jefferson? Why didn't we draft Jerry Jeudy?
Justin Jefferson's the cream of the crop.
Right, but they took Ayuk, and he was a project.
He's been really good.
And he was out with the hammy. I don't even think he played week 1.
No, he didn't. I think he didn't. What did he play,
the first couple weeks?
12 or 13 games
his first game was against the New York Giants.
Yeah, because the week 1 was the Arizona Cardinal at home in front of nobody, and that was the game George Kittle got hurt, and they had a bunch of randoms playing wide receiver. But Bonte, you're asking me why it can't get better? Because just right now, I'm not saying it can't, but let's also be realistic here. If you extrapolate his 5 games in the regular season to a full season, you're looking at, let's just do the simple math, times 3. You're looking at close to 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, right? Those are all pro numbers. Look at Mahomes' career. How many times has he thrown for 40? That's Mahomes.
Those are all pro numbers. But
that's why I think people are just waiting okay, wait a minute. Play better? So what, 50-5?
Well, just the offense may be humming at. He now is in the second year of the offense. They say it takes a while to get this offense, right? To get this offense down. Well, now he's in his second year.
Yes.
We heard from John Lynch in the Albert Breer article in Sports Illustrated. Boy, he thinks like Kyle. He can stay with Kyle's brain. He knows. And I've heard that from people in the organization that Shanahan loves his mind. He loves the way he conducts his offense. So I see 32.5 points per game in those performances. And then you get the Philadelphia interior UCL. He had Brandon Ayuk wide open at that play. Who the hell knows what happens in that football game? I truly believed, even with the Brock Purdy, they were going to get it done in Philadelphia because that team has heart.
I just feel like, in general, we say these numbers and we throw things out like the other side of the ball. No, I know, but the other side of the ball doesn't adjust to you as well.
No, it does adjust. It does adjust. And they will adjust. But think about what we saw last year. Think about what we saw with Purdy at quarterback.
It was amazing.
My jaw was dropped.
Everyone's was.
But that crowd was chanting Purdy for a reason.
Bonte, if I told you Joe Burrow threw for 45 and 10, you'd say, that's an unbelievable season. That'd be hard to swallow.
But it'd be, it's Joe Burrow, and you look at Jamar Chase, and you look at T. Higgins, and you look at Tyler Boyd in that slot, and you look at what they have at tight end, you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, I'm not that surprised that Joe Burrow threw 45
and 10?
But would you really be surprised?
How many quarterbacks in the history of the NFL have thrown for 45?
No, not many, but honestly,
touchdowns.
Would you really be surprised in today's game with 17 game schedules?
Yes, I would.
If Joe Burrow threw for 40 touchdowns?
Yes, I would.
40-plus touchdowns, you'd be surprised?
I mean, Mahomes threw for 50, and it was one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen. He hasn't sniffed 50 yet.
It would be, but I wouldn't be surprised. These guys are great quarterbacks. They're capable of doing things like that.
So, Brock Purdy, but what I'm saying is that, so then we're talking about two dudes who are physical freaks and outliers at the position, and you're asking me, can he be better than, if we extrapolate over 36 to 12? Dude, if you just get me 30 and 14 or 15 interceptions, dude, that would be amazing. But that would be amazing.
But that's the one thing. He didn't turn the ball over last year. He didn't fumble in the pocket.
I'm trying to be reasonable.
I'm being reasonable, too.
Jimmy never threw for 30 touchdowns.
Based off what we saw, but Jimmy never looked like Purdy did in those 8 games. He never looked like that.
Their numbers were very similar.
He never, the eyes will tell you. Okay. He never looked like that. Come on, let's keep it a buck. Yeah, as much as I get it. Purdy, I have my questions with Purdy. I have my questions with Purdy.
You think I'm going to head into a season and you think I'm going to say
I don't care
the quarterback who's played 5 games needs to be 40 and 10? Like that's ridiculous.
I'm not saying that. Nobody's saying that.
Aaron Rodgers did that with the Jets.
See, that's what you're doing. You're projecting and you're putting words in my mouth.
I'm not saying
that he's going to go out there. This offense averaged 32.5 points per game. 32.5 points per game.
And no team averaged 30 or more last year. No team for the whole season.
But do you have the best play caller in football or a top 5 play caller in football?
He's up there.
He's top 5 play caller in football.
He's up there.
He's up there, right?
Yeah,
top
no
5.
doubt. He's up there.
Debo's in better shape, right?
Yeah.
Looks a lot
But I don't
quicker.
know what it's going to look like for a full season with him and CMC because they do a lot of the same things and they work in a lot of the same windows. And there's only one ball, right? And so I just think that we have to be somewhat reasonable. Brock could throw if Brock threw 30 touchdowns, and played all 17 games and only turned the ball over 15, 16 times, that would be a remarkable season.
It would be.
It would be an incredible season. But maybe statistically, it wouldn't be as excellent as what they had last year.
But with the way he commanded his offense and with the way they played last year, would you really be shocked if he threw for?
Yeah, I would.
Maybe this is
no
a
Niner quarterback has thrown for 30 touchdowns.
I get all that. I get all that. But there's been a lot of bum-ass quarterbacks out here, so of course you're not going to throw 30 touchdowns. However, you look at the weapons, and their philosophy is they want to run the football. So Christian McCaffrey's going to get a lot of carries. I personally don't care if he throws for 30 touchdowns or 15 touchdowns. Okay. Honestly, it's the way the offense looks.
Yeah, that
it's
I agree
the way
with.
they got chunk plays.
That I agree
it's the way they move the ball up and down the field. And one thing that Jimmy didn't do, what Alex Smith didn't do, we haven't seen it enough from Trey Lance. We haven't seen it because he's got a small sample size, so I don't want to include him in this. But what we see from 49er quarterbacks is Purdy gets the ball in the end zone. They find a way in the red zone to capitalize and get the ball in the end zone.
I agree with
that.
Do
they not?
Yeah, no, they do.
That's the difference.
Yeah, but
so I don't
also
care whether Purdy has 30 touchdowns or whether he has 10. If they're humming and scoring 27, 33 points per game, boy, we do have our guy.
But no doubt. But Ponce, I just feel like you're not being realistic of the landscape of an NFL season. Because every week there's different schemes. Guys are in and out of the lineup. There's more to it when you play a full season.
No.
What do you mean no?
No. I'm not doing that at all. What I'm doing is everybody keeps talking about how they're worried about Purdy because John Lynch, Shanahan keeps saying they're a real deal, and people are scoffing at that, right? And I get why they would scoff at that because it's only 8 games. It's only 8 games. And Shanahan says, I knew after 3 games that, you know what, he was my guy. So whatever. Everybody's so fixated on that. But what I'm trying to do is spin it forward and saying, why can't they pick up where they left off offensively last year? Why couldn't they? Why?
Because it's really hard to score 34 points a game in the NFL. That's why.
Okay.
Is it not?
The Niners, you know what they averaged in 2019?
What, 26?
30 a game.
30, okay.
30 a game.
And I think that's the high of their...
In today's NFL.
Yeah, but Mahomes didn't even do that last year.
Rules are catered to offense. And the Chiefs had to find themselves a little later last year.
But that's what an NFL season is you're going to have ups and downs.
It is.
Right?
But this team is bringing back everybody offensively.
No doubt.
Plus Christian McCaffrey.
But you also have to account for, they're starting the year off right now. Kittle's hurt. So there's going to be some injuries this year. We're acting like they're not going to have some ups and downs, some bumps. Hey, maybe the right tackle position isn't as good as we thought it was. Maybe the defense actually gives up more points, and so you have less possessions or less favorable field position.
Or
there's nuance.
The defense gives up more points, and you have to score more points.
That's an element that is definitely part of it.
But does Brock Purdy, does he push the ball downfield more so than Jimmy Garoppolo ever did?
In the sample that we saw, yeah, it feels like he totally does.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
It's okay to say
totally
that.
Does.
There's no problem. He did.
Yeah, but I mean, so again, Jimmy, we have a body of 4 years, 5 years. We've got 5 games, and I'm as optimistic as everyone. But it is. We have to also understand it is 5 games. I mean, we're over here saying I believe
games. It's actually 8 games.
Okay, 8 games.
You're saying 5 games. It's 8 games.
All right, it's 8. It's still 8. Half of an NFL season.
I mean, it is 8, but without having any reps. Playing scout team football to step in there. I think we gloss over it. Our mindset when it comes to sports is set on negative. We thrive off negativity. We do. We all do. I do. You do. Everybody does. We thrive off negativity. if we just looked at the positive side for just a second, and I'm saying it's all not going to be sunshine and rainbows, but this guy came into Miami Dolphins game without any reps, was a scout team quarterback. And you said, damn, I didn't think this guy, okay, all right, fine, it's a fluke. Maybe it's a fluke. Now you got to go get ready for Tampa Bay. They get ready for Tampa Bay. They put up 35 in the first half against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But there's no carryover for next year. You have, just real quick,
there's not.
Debo has an injury history. I know he looks great right now, but he does. He has a real legitimate injury history. Kittle's had an injury history. Now, he's basically misses a couple of games every year, all right? CMC has an injury history. He was very healthy last year, right? Very, very, very healthy last year. So those things, I think, are reasonable to bake into the equation of this year. Like, Trent Williams has missed a couple of games. It feels like every year for the Niners, right? And so I also believe that, like, you know, as much as an offense hums, sometimes you go up against somebody who's got your number.
Why can't this guy be the outlier? They're telling you that he's an outlier.
I'm saying is, you know, boy, I got to see that.
And so why can't he? Because I think we're so pessimistic on the quarterback because of what we've seen. Again, it goes back to what we were talking about last week.
No, I think it's more a byproduct of the NFL. Guys have good years and bad years.
No doubt.
Or, you know, degrees of good years. Like, Mahomes has had an outstanding season, his first full season, and then he's gotten hurt in a couple of the other ones.
Yes, he's
last year, you even pointed to it. Like, they won it all, and he was up and down in the middle point of that year.
Yeah, he was, but he's been exceptional for the most part.
He has been.
He's been exceptional.
He's the outlier.
Come on, let's not throw in Mahomes. Look, there's no Mahomes, there's no Josh Allen, there's no Joe Burrow, there's not these guys walking around here. All I'm asking is, why couldn't Brock Purdy build off of last year? What would make you say?
Well, he could.
What would make you say other than the injury to the torn UCL, to maybe defenses, hey, they got a game plan and they got to get tape on him. But the NFL's a quick league. How come they couldn't adjust to him last year? They didn't adjust to him quickly enough last year.
It felt like the Dallas game, you know, because Dallas has a very unique personnel set and scheme. It did feel like they were on the Niner offense in general. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the guy's been up and down at practice. I don't know what to make of practice. You're going up against guys that know your scheme.
Right? You're going up against the first team defense.
Yeah, I know, but they also understand what you want to do probably better than anyone else in the league. So
they know
I don't
the
know.
offense. So.
And I look at the schedule that they got to play this year as well, as someone is literally texting that in right now. I think that's a good point. It's a tough schedule. I mean, every year's a tough schedule.
Yeah, the NFL's tough.
I just think the rigors and the up and downs of a regular season, it's not going to be, we're dropping 35 every week no matter what. One week you drop 45, the next week it's a monsoon, and you win 9-0 against Washington.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It happens. But I'm just wondering why not? Because it's just a lot of negativity towards the quarterback spot in general with the 49ers. Now, I don't know if we're leading the charge with that, but I'm starting to think, boy, somebody on the text line, Xfinity the mobile text line, well, they averaged 26 points per game with Christian McCaffrey when Jimmy Garoppolo was a quarterback, and that was my point last week. It's like, Jimmy, they averaged 26. And then Brock came in, and it's undeniable. It's undeniable this offense went to another level. Yeah, but they went to another stratosphere.
Excuse Niner fans for having quarterback PTSD.
Well, that's the problem.
But no. You haven't had two good quarterback seasons back-to-back since when? Like, two good, the same guy took all the snaps, 16 weeks in a row, 2 good years back to back. Not even great, just 2 good years.
We'll see. I'm
asking. How long's it been?
It's been a while.
Okay, so color me fucking surprised that I don't think it's going to happen.
There's bad coaching, there's bad picks, there's bad GMs, there's offensive coordinators coming through the door, in and out. There's everything out there. So it's just a kind of a wet blanket statement saying, well, in the last 20 years, we haven't had this and that. You had some success. It happens. The Lions have been looking for quarterbacks for their entirety of their franchise.
And wouldn't you be surprised if Goff had 2 good years in a row?
Would I?
Yeah.
Not really. Not with those weapons.
Okay.
Not with that running game.
I think I'd still be a little surprised.
Offensive line. He was the number 1 pick for a reason. I've seen Jared Goff had big-time years with the LA Rams. We all forget that. He had big-time seasons with the Rams. Big time. He's got talent. McVay just thought he couldn't take him over the top, and he was right. Let's go to Greg.